Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's your boy Jolsey, aka Comic Filth, and we're finally back with another video. I seriously cannot believe it's been over 6 months since my last video, but I thank everyone for their patience and all the subscribers that have still stuck around. And yeah, hopefully I can start consistently making more videos. The thing is, I'm still buying and reading comics, obviously. Just trying to find the downtime to get a video in. But the good news is that I've got the time now, and I'll show you all the books that I've picked up over the past 6 months. As you can see, we've got a fair few like Marvel Modern Era collections, a fair few DC trades, a lot of DC omnibuses. I think I might title this video the DC Omnibus Wallet Abuse, just because so many good omnibuses DC's released this year. A lot of this stuff I've already read multiple times as it was coming out, and read the books. Some of it I've only just recently read. So without further ado, let's start going through. Alrighty, so the first cab off the rank, we'll get the only Marvel Omnibus in this haul. As you can see, it's the new Avengers Omnibus by Brian Michael Bendis. Volume 1, you can see all these names: David Finch, Steve McNiven, Frank Cho, Mike Deodato Jr., Lionel Francis Yu, Olivia Coipel, Alex Maleev, Howard Chaykin, Jim Chung, Pascal Ferry, and you've even got Mark Silvestri taking billing on the cover here. There's the spine. This book was out of print for a very long time, but they've reprinted it, and Volume 2 solicited, I think, November this year. One of my favourite things about the classic Marvel Omnis, the thumbnails of the covers look so good. If you want to pause the book and see what it collects, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, let's check it out. So nothing too crazy on the hardcover board itself. It's just a shattered Avengers logo. But there's your Sentry. I haven't seen the new Thunderbolts or the only Thunderbolts movie, so can't comment too much on that. But what's there to say about this? So it kicks off with Avengers Disassembled. Say what you will about Bendis' writing and his tropes over the recent years, but I think in 2004, when this shit was coming out, it is like no understating how Bendis made the Avengers cool again. Just adding Spidey, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Luke Cage. Fantastic. You've obviously got the mainstays as Captain America and Iron Man kind of as like the team leaders, but you get more characters that join in here, like Ronan, all that stuff. But yeah, the David Finch artwork throughout majority of this is insane. Of course, you get the Sentry. We won't spend too much time on the books just because there's so many to get through, but yeah, you got the first appearance of the Marvel Illuminati. There's some of that Steve McNiven art for the Sentry story. Yeah, basically all this stuff, this material here leads into Civil War and Secret Invasion and all that. But yeah, really stoked this got reprinted, and I'm really looking forward to picking up Volume 2, which I believe will collect all of the Bendis first New Avengers run. Because I think they ended up rebooting in 2010. I don't know if that stuff will be collected. But here's the Mark Silvestri issue. Damn, booty galore in this book. Alrighty. There you go, New Avengers. Alrighty, starting off with the DC omnibuses. One that I'm actually really stoked to own / surprised even got printed was the Red Lantern's New 52 omnibus. Primarily written by Peter Milligan, Charles Soule. So this collects all their New 52 issues. As you can see, it's quite a thick book. Love that DC Bullet logo. And who's that? Well, if you haven't read it, I won't spoil it for you, but if you want to pause the video and see what it collects, you're more than welcome to do that. Let's check it out. Alrighty, so on the actual hardcover board itself, we have artwork, and it is Dexter, one of the Red Lantern Corps members who is a cat from Earth, and he is one sadistic little dude. And you've got these nice bookend pages, all the rings. There's Atrocitus, the main character / villain, I suppose, anti-hero, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, this book's quite big. It doesn't really want to stay open on me. Still got to adjust the spine a bit better. But yeah, basically what I can sum up Red Lanterns is, if you ever watch the Transformers episodes where it focused mostly on the Decepticons, That's what it kind of feels like. You know, you're getting some Green Lantern action here as well, because there was quite a fair few crossovers during the New 52 between all the Lantern books. Yeah, awesome stuff. I'm really stoked that it got reprinted. You get Supergirl issues in here because she does a crossover with the Red Lanterns, joins the team for a bit. And speaking of which, Supergirl New 52 Omnibus gets reprinted, I believe, this month. Oh, well, not reprinted, printed for the first time this month. So, yeah, all these New 52 Omnibuses, man. DC's just smashing my wallet. Alright, another one I'm super excited got printed. Well, I'm excited for all these books, obviously I bought them, but is Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka Omnibus. So this is the Wonder Woman run that Greg Rucka did in the early to mid 2000s. And I'm not too sure if the Rebirth stuff will get reprinted, but there is a decent amount of that for that to be its own omnibus, so I imagine they probably would do that in the future. Alrighty, a nice art on the front of the board, and you got the same image on the spine. And on the back here, you got Wonder Woman's boot firmly placed on Batman's head. That's the cover to a graphic novel called The Hikatea. I'm probably butchering that word, but that's the first story that's collected in here. Alright, let's crack it open. If you haven't read this material before and you really want to get into Wonder Woman, I really think this is a good jumping on point. It's really new reader friendly. You know, you get cameos from other DC characters, of course, Batman, Flash, Superman, all the Justice League. You get some cool villains, like, you know, Wonder Woman staples, like Dr. Psycho, Silver Swan, Medusa. So yeah, I was really stoked that this finally came out. Very gorgeous looking book. There you go, you got Wonder Woman in her Amazonian battle armor. Yeah, all sorts of crazy fun adventures in here. There you go, some Justice League action, some Superman action. And of course you get the Infinite Crisis tie-ins. Spoilers. But yeah, a really good Wonder Woman new reader-friendly run. Definitely one of the best Wonder Woman runs of all time, and I'm so stoked that we finally got it in one hardcover. Alrighty, Suicide Squad, the new 52 Omnibus. I really like this run. I know a lot of people don't. I will admit it does start off really strong, but it, you know, what a lot of new 52 titles that were kind of struggling suffered from just a lack of identity in the end. But yeah, no, this is fantastic stuff in my opinion. Alrighty, another nice design choice on the hardcover itself. You've got the various members of the team and these like crosshairs about to get sniped with blood and stains in the background. There's your back and some different headshots on the back of the book. Alrighty, as you can see, the blood splatter theme carries over to the end sheets. Look, I think if you're a fan of the 2016 movie, I think you'd obviously like this. It's, like, in my opinion, I really did enjoy this run. I can see the criticism that it gets. It did end up getting rebooted as New Suicide Squad, but that didn't last for too long either. And Suicide Squad Rebirth, DC Rebirth, in my opinion, wasn't very good. Yeah, the team's kind of been floundering ever since. But, yeah, as you can see, New 52 was always renowned for having pretty great artwork. Yeah, not really too much more I can say about this. If you're a big fan of that movie, or if you just like some light-hearted popcorn comics that don't take itself too seriously, then yeah, probably would suggest this is up your alley. Yeah, you got a bit of OMAC. So yeah, good times. Alrighty, Red Hood and the Outlaws, a new 52 omnibus, written primarily by Scott Lobdell and James Tynion IV. You got artwork here from Kenneth Roccafoot, amongst others. This is the book where I first discovered Kenneth Roccafoot's art. Really enjoyed it. There's that spine. This is a reprint. I believe the first printing of this came out back in 2019 or 2020. So it's been a while. I think this got released to gauge interest and to sell again to see if they can make Volume 2. And I'm really hoping that Volume 2 can get reprinted, because I actually really do enjoy the tail end of this run, as well as the Red Hood stuff that Scott Lobdell did in DC Rebirth. Alrighty, got quite a striking art on board here. You know, you got these crazy sort of colours. Fuck, I just love that logo so much. I'm so glad DC brought it back. Anyway, that's enough about me frothing over the logo. This is another sort of book. It's put more of an acquired taste. Like, once again, if you like fun, dumb popcorn comics, you know, a bit of entertainment, something that doesn't take itself too seriously, go for it. There's that Kenneth Rocafort art. Basically, if you're not familiar with who Red Hood and the Outlaws is, Red Hood is the second Robin, Jason Todd, who was murdered by the Joker in the late 80s. Was obviously come back. And, you know, you've got Starfire and Roy Harper. And yeah, you know, you're getting crossovers with the Joker. There's a bit of Superman action. Of course, you're going to see Batman and Nightwing pop up in here. League of Assassins. They go into space. There's aliens. You know, you obviously got Batman issue 17, which is pretty much in like fucking every book. Probably one of the most reprinted issues of all time. But yeah, no, I'm really hoping this sold well and that we can get a volume 2 and leading into that like Rebirth stuff that Scott Lobdell did with like Dexter Soy and that, where the Outlaws is Red Hood and Artemis and Bizarro. I really enjoyed the Rebirth run as well as this. So yeah. Batman Detective Comics, the New 52 Omnibus, Volume 1. Beautiful cover by Tony Estaniel, who does most of the writing and artwork for the first half of the book. And then Jason Fabok takes over the art duties with John Layman as writer. There's also a really cool Penguin original story in here as well called Pain and Prejudice. There's the back there. Old villains, new enemies, same darkness. I know I've been speed running through these just because there's so many, but I feel like I've got to point this out on the flaps. So this seems to be a bit of a missed opportunity. It's just a nitpick from me, but the way the images is Batman's on the left and Penguin's on the right, but they're swapped here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just me being a little nitpicker, I suppose. But it makes up for it with the artwork on the board, which is nice. Beautiful Jason Fabok piece. Got that spine, and on the back you got this image of Batman and one of the villains in the book called Wrath, or The Wrath. I think I remember reading about Wrath from the late 80s or 90s, but yeah. So this material was the other Batman series. Well, there was about 5 at the time, but this is the other series that was running concurrently with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's main Batman title. Detective Comics, you know, Batman's first appearance all the way back in the day. And yeah, it's the first time I think it ever got rebooted. I remember fans were a bit upset about that back in the day because it was really close to reaching 1,000 issues, which it's reached now since they renumbered it. All went back to the old numbering. But yeah, no, really stoked. This is some really good material here. Not the best, not going to blow you away, but you know, it's got, like, you know, it's a jumping on point like most New 52 books are. You know, if you haven't really read a lot of Batman, this is easy to pick up. There's that Penguin story I was telling you about, real dark. But yeah, really enjoyed the stuff here. You know, you've got Batman in all sorts of different situations. You know, you've got Man-Bat, you've got Joker, of course. This shows you how the Joker got all fucked up at the start of the New 52. You've got Penguin, who's a main focus. You've got a bunch of other villains. You've got Emperor Penguin here. Yeah, real solid book. Volume 2 will collect the Francis Manapul stuff. As well as when Jim Gordon was in Batman for a little bit there. Alrighty, one that I'm stoked got reprinted. Nightwing, the Prince of Gotham Omnibus. This is the Nightwing New 52 stuff. Yeah, look, I prefer the blue, but the good thing is this doesn't stay around for long. But overall, apart from the red, it's a really good run. Kyle Higgins does some really great stuff here. Great artwork throughout the whole thing. Yeah. Righty, nice art on the board there. You can see we've got Nightwing fighting a Talon. And when we flip it over, it seems to be wrap around. And then we've got Nightwing doing what he does best, being an acrobat. Alright, let's check this bad boy out. Got his logo on the end sheets. It's needless to say, with all your new 52s, you know, they're all good jumping on points. I don't think you can go wrong jumping into a new 52 Omnibus for the first time. If you're not super familiar with the character, the only book I'd probably tell people to stay away from is Superman by Grant Morrison, the New 52 one. Not because it's bad, it's just, not really new reader friendly, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, yeah, typical Nightwing, great action. Love Nightwing, probably a bit more than Batman, as I've gotten over the years. But yeah, fantastic series. You can't do any worse, in my opinion. So yeah, Nightwing, New 52 Omnibus. So stoked it finally got reprinted. Keeping up with the Nightwing theme here, we got Nightwing Rebirth Omnibus, written primarily by Tim Seeley, and you got artwork in here by Javier Fernandez and Bernard Chang. As you can see, this is a thick book. Probably one of the best spine designs for an omnibus, in my opinion. And yeah, he's not Batman. He's better, apparently. Alrighty, great artwork on board again for this one. We got the spine, it's the black with the Nightwing logo, and on the back there, got Nightwing's skull. Alrighty, without opening it up just yet, can you take a guess what's going to be on the end sheets? Especially after we just looked at the New 52 one. Alright, bang! Oh, you can tell that this book needs to be stretched. I have stretched it, it's just a really thick book and it's really tight. But yeah, the run that's in between this is the Grayson Super Spy. That was written by both Tim Seeley and Tom King. I haven't got it. It's been reprinted. It's not a top priority for me, but I do enjoy it. So I probably will pick that up down the future. But in my opinion, the Rebirth one shot at the start of this brings you up to speed. That was the idea of Rebirth. It was to, tie up some of the continuity issues from the New 52, revert some characters back, improve some characters. And yeah, like Nightwing, he went back to his previous status quo, and yeah, really good run. I think the Tom Taylor stuff that came out after this a fair while is finally getting collected in omnibus format, so I'll have to grab that. But if I was to toss up between the two, the New 52 one and this one, I'd probably say get this one just because you're getting a lot more out of it. You got your Dark Knight's Metal tie-ins, Night of the Monster Men tie-in. You've got Raptor and the Judge and all these other cool characters. So yeah, a really fantastic run, and yeah, so glad Nightwing's getting represented in more omnibuses. And finishing off the hardcovers, we've got Superman Unchained from the New 52, the deluxe edition. So basically, you got Scott Snyder coming together with Jim Lee and his artistic talents, and yeah, telling a Superman story. This originally came out, I think, in 2013 or 14. And it was out of print for so long, and now DC's reprinted it. But unfortunately, they didn't really do too much because it's got the black boards that after a while make your fingers feel like you've been in a coal mine. All right, let's check it out. Is this the greatest Superman story of all time? No. Is it in the top 10? Probably not. For some people, maybe. But I really enjoy it. Good action, fun. Jim Lee artwork, Scott Snyder. It's definitely got its pacing issues. I feel like it was supposed to go a bit longer, but then out of nowhere, it kind of we got to wrap it up. But yeah, fantastic artwork. Of course, you're getting Superman and his cast of characters, new villains, Lex Luthor. You got Batman and Wonder Woman in here. Just overall, real solid stuff. If you like the Man of Steel movie from 2013, if you like your Superman just running around bashing people, you can't do any worse than this. And this had a shitload of variants because I believe it was Superman's 75th or 80th anniversary at the time. And yeah, you can just see variants galore. Alrighty, so now we're moving on to the trades. We'll start with the Marvel Modern Era Epic Collections. I picked up the first two Iron Man books by Matt Fraction and primarily artwork by Salvador Larroca. I didn't read this stuff as it was coming out, but I know a lot of people that are fans of the first Robert Downey Jr. movie say this is a really good read, and after reading it, it's solid. Fantastic artwork by LaRocca. Bit more of a realistic sort of style, but yeah, just really good stuff. I'm pretty sure there's one more volume, and that will be everything for the Matt Fraction stuff. And if my memory suits me, I'm pretty sure that comes out sometime this year. But yeah, you get some good Maria Hill moments, some good Pepper Pot moments. This material had just come out in a Omnibus, Agent Venom, but I already had the Modern Era Epics, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with just the Rick Remender stuff. So, yeah, good run. If you want to get the Omnibus, I can definitely see why you'd want to go down that path. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with just these thick trades. Really enjoyed this run. It's one that also gets a lot of flack in with the reason, I understand. It's not, anything too crazy, but I really enjoyed it. Flash Thompson as Venom for the first time. Good stuff. Has his own sort of rogues gallery. Teams up with the Scarlet Spider. Yeah, good stuff. And I finally got the second and final volume in the Joss Whedon, John Cassidy Astonishing X-Men. This is called Unstoppable. It came out right at the start of the year. Collects the tail end of their Astonishing X-Men run. And yeah, if you haven't read this stuff, fantastic. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Alrighty, and the final handful of trades I've got. Original Sin by Jason Aaron, Mike Deodato Jr. The main reason why I got this is because I was reading Jason Aaron's Thor run, and you don't really need to read this to get the gist of it. It explains it pretty well. But I thought, yeah, why the hell not? Like, I quite enjoy it. It's not the greatest event in the world, but yeah, good artwork, easy storytelling. Pretty easy to please. So I got The Authority, book 1 and 2. So book 1's written by Warren Ellis with art by Brian Hitch, and 2's followed up by Mark Millar with Frank Wiley, and I think there's someone else on art. Maybe a couple different people. The Omnibus is getting reprinted. I think that comes out later this week, but I ended up just buying the trades just because I like The Authority, a really good alternative to superhero comics. When it was with Wildstorm, and then that got absorbed into DC. But yeah, it's not really too much more I could say about it. I'm pretty sure there's a movie that's in development, which would explain why there's being a lot more eyes on The Authority. But yeah, no, I enjoy it. Probably the books are probably the best way to go if you're not too certain about it and don't want to drop the dollars on an omnibus. Here's one that I'm very excited. The Crow Special Edition. It's just a trade paperback, but it's been printed before, but it's been out of print for quite some time. James O'Barr's Outlaw Comics masterpiece. There's not too much to say about The Crow. Just fantastic. Brandon Lee, loved that movie as a kid. One of the only DVDs that I still own. Had it on VHS, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, fantastic. Just a staple. Batman Off-World. So this is another book by Jason Aaron with art by Doug Mahnke. It's set early in Batman's career. I believe it's just a 6-issue mini-series. And yeah, it's basically Batman going into space and fighting aliens, getting his ass kicked because he's not used to fighting aliens. Yeah, nice, easy one and done read. Doug Mahnke artwork, you can't go wrong. And the villains are actually pretty cool in this as well. They're pretty terrifying. Flashpoint Beyond, finally picked this up. I'm actually quite surprised this didn't come out in hardcover, given that it's got Jeff Johns. Maybe one day, probably an absolute soon. But yeah, the follow-up to Flashpoint. We get to figure out why the Flashpoint universe is still going despite Thomas Wayne's efforts to shut it down. Alright, my dudes, there's my haul for the past 6 months. Sorry that I sped run through every book. You can see we're almost at 30 minutes, and if I went through every book in detail, it'd probably be a 3-hour video, which I'm probably sure not many people want to hear my voice for that long. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing still. And hopefully my next video is not 6 months away again. Alright, until next time, take care.